You already know how bad air is supposed to feel. It burns, or it chokes, or it makes you gasp. And that gasp is the point. Somewhere in you there is an alarm, and you trust it completely. If this place were killing me, I would feel it, and I would leave. Here is the first thing this era takes from you. That alarm doesn't measure oxygen. It measures carbon dioxide building up in your blood, and it's the only warning your body has ever needed. In the Cambrian, both readings are wrong at once, and the alarm goes quiet exactly when you need it most. Look at the readout. Today, back home, carbon dioxide 420 parts per million, oxygen 21%, 15 degrees. Now here, 540 million years ago, carbon dioxide around 5,000 parts per million, 12 times what you breathe. Oxygen 13%, the thin air of Everest Base Camp at sea level, 10 degrees hotter than home. You will not feel most of that. That is not the reassurance it sounds like. It is the whole danger. So what does the world look like before anything has learned to live on land? You step onto a shore, and the first thing that reaches you is the silence. No birdsong, no insects, no wind through leaves, because there are no leaves. Bare rock, mud, a flat gray sea, and nothing green in any direction to the horizon. Why so empty? Because life hasn't come ashore yet. Every living thing on the planet is in the water behind you. The continents are sterile stone and drifting sediment. No soil, because soil is something roots and microbes build, and none of that exists here. You're standing on the most barren beach there will ever be, and your first breath doesn't stagger you. No dramatic gasp, no burning. It feels, if anything, faintly thin, the sort of thing you blame on a bad night's sleep and shrug off. You take a second breath and decide you're fine. You are not fine. So why, at 13% oxygen, isn't your body screaming? At this level, a mountaineer would be slowing down, counting every step. You should be desperate for air. But desperation for air isn't an oxygen sense at all. It's that carbon dioxide alarm again, and low oxygen simply doesn't trip it. Pilots know this. A cabin loses pressure, and people don't claw at the windows. They go quiet, they smile, they fumble a simple task and can't say why. Oxygen starvation doesn't hurt. It just switches off the parts of you that would notice. Why is the oxygen this low? Because you've arrived early. The geologist Joe Kirschvink argued in 1992 that not long before this, in deep time, the whole planet had frozen over. Ice to the equator, the catastrophe he named Snowball Earth. Oxygen only began its real climb as the world thawed and life recovered. 13% is what the air has built back so far. You are breathing a planet still convalescing, so the first cost is quiet. Your thinking slips a gear. You feel calm, a little slow, strangely untroubled, and every one of those feelings is a symptom. Surely you'd feel the carbon dioxide though. 12 times today's level. Shouldn't that choke you? Here's the cruel part. It doesn't choke you either. At 5,000 parts per million, carbon dioxide doesn't suffocate. It fogs. A dull headache starts behind your eyes. Your thoughts turn syrupy. Decisions that should be instant take a beat too long, and you don't notice the beat. In sealed modern rooms, a fraction of this concentration measurably dulls how well people reason. This is many times that, in open air. Where did it all come from, and why is it still here? Paul Hoffman and Daniel Schrag showed in 1998 how a snowball planet escapes, volcanoes keep exhaling carbon dioxide for millions of years, while the ice reflects the sun away until the sky holds so much of it that the planet lurches into a runaway greenhouse and the ice melts in a geological instant. The 5,000 parts per million around you is the leftover, the unpaid balance of that thaw still bleeding off. So now both needles work against you and they compound. The oxygen empties the brain. The carbon dioxide clouds what's left. And neither one, this is the trap closing, sends the signal that would make you turn and run. By now you might be telling yourself, this is just a bad patch of planet. Hold still, wait it out, the air will settle. It won't, and the reason rewrites everything you've felt so far. Shanan, Peters, and Robert Gaines published the argument in 2012. That same freeze-thaw catastrophe didn't only leave a strange atmosphere. Its glaciers scraped the continents down to bare bedrock. The reason the shore behind you is naked stone, and when the ice let go, the grinding flushed a continent's worth of dissolved rock into the sea, calcium, phosphate, the raw minerals of skeletons. In waters suddenly thick with those ions, animals began doing something they had never done. They started to build hard parts, shells, armor, teeth. So the hostile world you're standing in isn't a dead end you wandered into. It's the exact machinery inventing the animal body right now in the water beside you. The barren land, the thin air, the fogged head. They're the same event as the most important burst of life in the planet's history. You haven't landed in a wasteland. You've landed on the hinge, on the wrong side of it, breathing the exhaust of the process that builds everything that comes after, including you. So, what is that experiment producing a few meters away in the shallows? You wade in to look because your fogged brain has stopped telling you not to. And something turns to look back. John Patterson and his colleagues described it in 2011 from eyes fossilized in Australian rock 500 million years old. The animal is Anomalocaris, a metre-long predator, the largest hunter this world has, and each of its eyes holds at least 16,000 lenses. Sharper sight than almost anything alive today. This is the moment vision itself gets good. And the instant one animal can see clearly, every other animal has to hide, or armor up, or grow eyes of its own. The arms race that biomineralization lit is now running at full speed. Here's what that means for you, standing thigh deep with a clouded head. You are, for the first time in Earth's history, something that can be seen, ranged, and hunted by a creature built to do exactly that. Everything in this water is learning to eat or be eaten faster than ever, and you are slower than you have ever been, in a body that cannot feel how slow it has become. So how does it end here? Not with a gasp. That's the horror of this place. There's no moment where you clutch your throat and understand. You get slower, you get calmer. The headache becomes the whole world and then stops bothering you. You sit down on the wet rock to think, and the thought doesn't come, and you don't mind. The sea keeps working at your feet, building its shells, sharpening its eyes, indifferent. You have all the time you need, and you're using it to feel almost peaceful. Every alarm you were born with is silent. The one that reads oxygen was never built. The one that reads carbon dioxide is drowned. You are dying at the speed of an afternoon, wide awake, unhurried, and you cannot tell. So why should a slow death on an empty shore 500 million years ago mean anything to you? Because you got to be here at all, only because that shore was as harsh as it was. The same scraped continents, the same convalescing air, the same restless chemistry that would kill you are what pushed life to build the first hard bodies. The lineage that runs unbroken to the hand you're looking at now. Shanan Peters has a colder way of putting it. He called the planet's whole system a capacitor, slowly charging across deep time by burying carbon and lifting oxygen, the same battery we met in the Carboniferous. And he warns the charge isn't permanent. His phrase is blunt. Steady state is death. A calm, balanced, unchanging planet isn't a safe one. It's a stopped one. The Cambrian is violent and half finished and trying to kill you precisely because it's still moving. And that movement is the only reason there's anyone to send. You told yourself on the beach that if this place were killing you, you'd feel it. It was. You didn't. And the only reason you exist to be fooled by it is that this beautiful, barren, lethal world never once held still.